gremlins! Today I'm drawing another character generated by rolling my dice. I'm using the same chart of characteristics I've used the last 3 times I've done this, which is linked in the description if you want to try this for yourself. Starting off with lucky number 13, this random fantasy character will be an angel. This will be fun. Next, I rolled 3 2s in a row. This would be very bad if I was playing D&D, but for this challenge it just means the angel will have the power of light, have a spider as an animal companion, and that spider will be an animated toy. Interesting. General arachnophobia warning on the rest of this video. I'll be trying to make that spider cute, but I will still have reference images of spiders on screen. Finally, I rolled a 10, low numbers across the board on this drawing, and generated a crossbow as this angel's weapon of choice. I've got to say, before even starting to think of ideas, this character seems the most randomly generated out of all the characters I've drawn so far using this chart. Hopefully I can make it work. I went into this drawing with only the vaguest plan, the idea to make the angels sitting with their companion spider on their lap. As I sketched, more ideas materialized. Sometimes when you don't know what to draw, the best idea is to just start drawing and see what happens. Sometimes it will work, sometimes you'll end up with trash. In this instance, this method worked. The angel is sitting on a brick wall floating on a cloud. Their crossbow is leaning against the wall by their legs. They have a fluffy animated plush spider on their leg, and a hand up creating a ball of light to fascinate that spider. As I did last time I drew an angel on the channel, I created 2 halos of eyes around a blank head, an angelic aesthetic that I think looks so cool and creepy. The angel is dressed in a long robe with flowing sleeves under a fitted waistcoat. I'm not entirely sure where the idea for giving the angel a waistcoat came from. Its main purpose is breaking up the plain white robe with something of interest. The angel's one pauldron does the same. The rest of the robe is undecorated. I'm not sure I drew the sleeves correctly. Draping fabric is not something I really understand visually. I based the look of the spider on a jumping spider because I think jumping spiders are cute. I made it look fluffy to make it clear that this isn't a real spider, but a fluffy plush toy that happens to be alive. It has 8 eyes, 2 of which are very large and reflect the magical light I will eventually draw. I decided that the color palette of this image will be purple, blue, pink, gold, and white. These are all colors I associate with the sky and with angelic beings. I started by drawing the dozens of angel eyes, with light purple irises and dark scleras. Since I figured out how to draw gold when redrawing some unicorns in the video linked in the cards, I'm having a lot of fun drawing that metal. I gave this angel golden halos, a golden pauldron, a golden chain hanging from their waistcoat, and a golden crossbow. My method is to block in high contrast colors, dark yellow browns compared to pale, almost white yellow. Then I blur the colors and add a few more unblurred highlights of white and light yellow to make it look shiny. I also made the waistcoat shiny, or at least gave it shiny details. I used a starburst-shaped brush to add an embroidered or brocade pattern to the purple waistcoat, then made it look shiny by adding the shadows very dark and the highlights very light. Most of the waistcoat is still matte, but the decorations are either metallic or satiny. I made the spider pink. Mostly I made it pink to make it look even more cute and innocent looking. Partly it's also to differentiate it from the purple and gold color palette of its angelic companion. I also detailed the spider's legs with some light pink stripes. I'm not the biggest fan of spiders, but I would die for this one, it's so cute. I had just finished coloring the angel's robes white when I realized I forgot a very important element of the angel's design. I forgot to give the angel wings. I quickly sketched some partially folded wings behind the angel. They have 2 pairs of wings because I couldn't fit a third into the design. A month ago, I did not understand feathered wings, and would need multiple references to figure them out in any drawing. Then, I drew 3 griffins, a hippogriff, and a periton within 2 weeks, and now I understand the basics. These wings are simplified and stylized, but I'm happy with the results. If only I could figure out hands as easily. I outlined the wings in cream rather than black to make them fade into the background more. The wings are not meant to be the main focus of this image, and adding more black outlines would confuse the focus of the face, hands, and spider. When I draw things that have very pale outlines on a white background, I actually draw the outlines in a bright, dark color, then recolor them once the outlines are done. I then finish the rest of the angel before coloring those wings. I wanted this angel to look unnatural, and if the wings and many-eyed halos didn't do that, its unnaturally grey skin also adds to the inhuman vibes. I then colored the wings creamy white, then began to draw the angel's magic. The angel's magical power is light. When drawing magical light, I tend to just start and keep adding elements until I like the look of it. In this case, I started by drawing a white ball, then making it glow with a feathered brush. Then I used a smudge brush to turn that ball of white into a star of white. From there I added more glow, then rays of yellow emanating through the entire frame, getting dimmer the further from their source they go. This isn't a method I've used for light before, but I think it really works in this context. The angel and their disconnected wall are floating on a cloud. The rest of the background is also made of sky and clouds. Those clouds are tinted pink, like sunrise or sunset clouds. The sky is clear blue. This is one of the quickest and easiest backgrounds I've drawn in a while. I love being able to use Photoshop cloud brushes. I finished this drawing by shading the angel using blue shadows. I was a bit torn between doing high contrast or low contrast shading. Low contrast might make more sense for floating in gentle cloudy skies. However, high contrast makes more sense when there is a bright source of light floating just above the character's hand. Also, adding high contrast shadows on top of white fabric makes the white no longer look white, which is a problem I keep encountering in my drawings. I compromised by making the shadows mid-toned, looking dark against the right robes, but not sharp. I then added another layer for the light shed from this magical glowing orb, highlighting the angel's sleeves, hand, and face, as well as parts of the spider. I also recolored the highlights in the angel's and spider's eyes, to match the color of the orb. I then added shadows and highlights to the feathery wings. I finished this image by adding cast shadows to the angel's seat, and here is the final result. I had fun with this image, especially drawing the gold, the eyes, the magical light, and the spider. I was nervous going into this image, the generated characteristics seeming more unusual than past drawings with the same format. However, I think I brought the elements together pretty well, and the spider doesn't feel out of place the way I worried it might. I hope you enjoyed this process as much as I did. If you use the same characteristic chart I used, tag me on Instagram at itsgreenthegremlin with your creations. I'd love to see them. Until next time, bye!